plunged by 33% in May to the lowest level on record, dating all the way back to 1963. The news comes as government mortgage giants Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac remain mired in a sea of bad loans that you and your children will eventually have to cover. Chief Washington correspondent Jim Angle explains.
Taxpayers are more exposed to the housing market than they think because the government owns Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, which in turn own or guarantee half of all the mortgages in the country.
Which means one of our most important private sector economic activities is now controlled in large part by the federal government.
And taxpayer exposure is growing. In the first quarter of this year, Fannie and Freddie saw about 1,000 foreclosures a day, one every 90 seconds, 91,000 in just 3 months. Because the federal government took over Fannie and Freddie, that means the taxpayers own all those homes and own or guarantee the mortgages for some 31 million more. Fannie and Freddie have already soaked up $145 billion in taxpayer funds. Some fear it could go to $500 billion. How did all this happen? During the Clinton years, the federal government set out to expand homeownership to low-income people. Fannie and Freddie encouraged that by buying up mortgage loans from the original lenders. Knowing they could dump their loans to Fannie and Freddie, lenders were willing to make shaky ones, no money down or no documentation of income, known as liar's loans.
They didn't check as carefully on the payments because they knew that they weren't going to get stuck with the actual loan itself.
That spread the practice of weaker loans and, some argue, laid the groundwork for the recent financial meltdown.
Most of us believe that Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac played a large role in causing the financial meltdown, certainly the housing bubble, the subprime loans.
Because many of those loans were bundled into mortgage-backed securities and sold to investment funds, pension funds, and all sorts of banks.
That basically spread all over the world because some people as far away as Europe and Asia had purchased these mortgage-backed securities.
Many Republicans want to get rid of Fannie and Freddie altogether, or at least restructure it in the financial services bill now in Congress. Democrats only partly agree.
Now look, this program needs to be fixed. There's no question about it. You need an alternative housing financing system. That is without question.
But Democrats want to wait to talk about Fannie and Freddie, and the current financial bill doesn't address them at all, while Republicans say with the government already neck deep in debt, it needs to get out of the home loan business as soon as possible. Chris?
This is going to be with us a long time, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. The pace is picking up on foreclosures.
Jim, thank you.
You bet.